to Nirmal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hiral Dadia. We have with us Abha Bakaya, founder at Ladies Who Lead, joining in. In fact, first, wishing all the ladies here in Abha, you as well, a happy Women's Day.
Thank you, Hiral, and to you too, to all the powerful women out there.
Absolutely. Abha, I mean, this day has been something that all of us have been celebrating, but it's always grown year on year. What do you think makes it so important to actually celebrate Women's Day according to you?
I think there are a lot of women that need to be celebrated for their achievements. And, while I know the skeptics say that, why do you celebrate Women's Day? It should be Women's Day all year round. And increasingly it is. Women are being far more valued today for the work that they do, for their achievements. But, it still needs to be a far bigger impact, Hiral. So therefore, I feel that occasions like Women's Day are important, where people take the time out to specially plan events, facilitate women, recognize them, and make them feel special.
Absolutely. In fact, there is this one cliche that I've always come across, Abha, is a working woman or a working mother, but we've never heard a working man or a working dad. What would you have to say to it?
Well, during COVID, I think a lot was spoken about in terms of how men were contributing and picking up some of the responsibilities. But we all know that that's still a minority. And while perhaps, it brought some of these issues into front and center of conversations in all households, it probably will take a lot of time before there's actually significant change. We are seeing companies, of course, do things like parental leave, so not just maternity, but also paternal leave and so forth, but it'll take time.
Right. And overall, from the career path that you've built for yourself, and the kind of task that you've taken over as well, especially with Ladies Who Lead, that's real empowerment. Have you faced any barriers in your career due to being a woman? And if yes, how did you overcome them?
I think as women, we have to be the ones who decide that this is what we want to do, or we have a goal and an ambition, and we pursue that. Because there will be a lot of, whether you call them obstacles, whether you call it unconscious biases, or, people around you that will imply that it's okay. Let's say you've worked 2 years or 4 years, or you've gotten some high out of your job or whatever startup you were trying to build, but it's all supposed to be kind of a by the by, whereas your main goal is to get married, have kids, and build a family. So I think when you are clear in your head that you want to do it all and that you can do it all, and that doesn't mean you have to do it overnight. You can do it in your own time. You can prioritize different things at different times. But when you do give importance to also furthering yourself intellectually and, overall in your work, in your sphere of work and career, that and you find fulfillment from that, then I think you find the power to keep going for it.
Right. And overall, what's the most important message that you would want to send out to young women thinking about their careers?
I think I'd also like to, perhaps tell young women that it does take a lot of hard work. I love to see the fire in their eyes. I think the startup culture is very ripe today. And even for other youngsters entering into the professional world, they're very keen to explore the new opportunities, promotions, travel the world, run a team. And it's great to see them doing so well. But I just want to remind them that, it does take time, and it's great to see that while on one hand, the amount of time it takes to perhaps be successful can be far shorter today, because if you're willing to work hard, the opportunities are there, and, you can go out and grab them. But at the same time, it is a competitive world. There are always going to be others competing for the same role. So you really have to have the stamina to ride you through any ups and downs.
Right. So what's been the most important piece of advice you have been given, which has actually helped you achieve this kind of a career and the goals that you are moving towards?
I think the most important would probably be to believe in myself. And while that sounds very cliche, I don't think I fully understood what it meant until much later in life. And I think that it's so touching when you see people around you that are able to see that you have it in you to go out there and fulfill your dreams. I think it takes a while sometimes to recognize that in yourself. So it's there's a fine line between being obstinate in your ideas, where I'm not saying believe in yourself where you just think that everything you're doing is right. It's not that. But believe in yourself is more about having that conviction that you have the ability to get something done.
Right. And I wouldn't say a role model, but anyone that has inspired you in your career?
Well, I think many people have inspired me. I see so many achievers around me. Having been a journalist, Hiral, and I've seen people's journeys. We've seen a lot of people tumble from the top also in the last decade, but we've also seen a lot of people who were struggling for the last decade finally make it. So it's inspiring to see their journeys. It's inspiring to see people reinvent themselves in their 40s and 50s, and the kind of nuggets of advice that they're able to pass on, the insights that they have from their journeys, how they've bounced back or how they've changed the game or moved on to something new. I think that's so wonderful to see. And I also take a lot of, notes or inspiration from the kind of environments that I've worked in all these years, in terms of how to manage a team, how to create a corporate culture, and things are changing so fast. So, you kind of try and take the best of the old world and implement it for the new world and the millennials that you work with.
Absolutely. In fact, a lot to learn from the millennials who are the Gen Zs, which are coming up as well. And my last question, Abha, coming to you is, if you had an opportunity to have dinner with 3 inspirational women, or maybe more or less, who would they be and why?
I'd love to have dinner with Indra Nui, Steffi Graf, and I'm thinking of one other name. These two just kind of popped into my head, but maybe Priyanka Chopra.
Wow. And why Priyanka Chopra?
Well, she's a global face today, not just a famous Indian actress, but a global face. And I find her journey very inspiring. I think, admire women who've been able to break the mold. They've been unconventional and they've not been scared to be so. So I think there's a lot to take away from that.
Absolutely. I think that was a good one, Abha. Thank you so much for joining me. Once again, happy Women's Day to you. Onwards, upwards for all of us from here on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.